Hello again, listeners, and welcome back to the Koto Classic FPL podcast. This is season 3. The league is about to start. Ciao, Manakam.
Boy, my cool man. Yeah, affaire bi jot na. One more day to go. Just one more day. Fu mu nekk nii moom affaire baa ngi ten xam nga. Making the last moves. But I think almost everyone is pretty set. I think you are pretty set with your team since long time ago. So should be fine. But yeah, I have one dilemma to make finally. But yeah, my cool boy. Nakam nak. Yaa ngi cool.
I'm cool. I'm ready to go, boy.
Yeah,
no more tinkering. Everything is done now. Let's just play the game.
Everything is set. Yaa ngi back on.
Everything is set. Yeah. So today we'll just talk about. Try to keep it simple and short and to the point. So we'll just discuss the captaincy chat, which we wanted to discuss in our last episode, but didn't have the time. So we'll just briefly talk about it and then delve into our FPL preview for Game Week 1, as well as our differentials and our strategies for the season. So Chama, before we even start, just take us through the last season winners and the charity that they actually picked at the end.
Yeah, as we know, last season we started the Koto Classic pledge-based league, and that was our first year, and it was open for all. So the league was supported by pledges made by members of the Koto Classic group and any other friend that wishes to support the Koto Classic league. And in the end, we had 3 prizes. The winner take home a jersey of his choice, the authenticated jersey of their choice, the club they support or something like that, a Koto Classic shirt and a mug. And a runner-up place took up a shoe, like a football boots, a soccer boots, Adidas football boots, a shirt and a mug. And third place took up a Koto Classic shirt and a mug. And the highest in the league who happened to make a pledge had the choice to decide 2 charities, and these charities were decided by Ryosuke Urai, who finished first runner up in the Koto Classic League. So he decided on Safro. This is a charity in the Gambia, and Football Gambia, which try to promote football and education through education and stuff like that. So these 2 charities were the winners. And before we move on, let me just mention the winner of the Koto Classic League from last year. It was Andrew Henning from South Africa. He was the champion. As I say, runner-up was Ryosuke Urai, and Suleiman Gay of the Gambia finished third. So that was the 2020-21 season, and that is the close of it. So now let's look forward to 2021-2022 season, which starts tomorrow. Actually, today for me, because I'm already in the Friday.
Yeah, in Japan, you're in the future.
Almost, yeah.
Okay, so please tell us what the league code is for those of listeners that want to be a part of it this coming season. As you can see, there are prizes and there are charities. There are prizes to be won, and there's also charities to choose to donate for what it costs.
Yeah. The league code, unfortunately, we'll not put it up there, but it will be in the link of this podcast. But the
each
league
episode,
code is in each episode is NFQHN8. NFQHN8. The link will be added to the YouTube podcast, and also in the YouTube link, and also the podcast link. So please, you can join the league. It's open for all.
Okay. So moving on, the captaincy chat, which we wanted to have last week, it's going to be summarized this week, just to point out the key points, and then discuss why it's important. And also Chama, own Ben Krellin has also made his own captaincy ticker. So Chama, let's start with the discussion of the importance of captaincy. What is your take on this?
Yeah, personally, I think captaincy is very, very, very important, because 2 seasons ago I played in the game. I happened to have a very, very good season, but my captaincy points was very, very low. Even though I finished high, kind of, I think that was my best finish overall in FPL, but my captaincy points that season was one of my lowest ever. And that's when I took notice and I realized, really, I need to improve on my captaincy points. So then last season I came up with my own strategy to try to maneuver the captaincy and things like that. But yeah, I think it's very, very important. Of course, the game can be won by captaincy, but of course you have to also take care of the other sides of the game. But because captaincy constitutes about 20 to 25% of your points totally. So usually, if you have around the 25% mark, it's a good season for you for captaincy. But of course, that is not enough. You have to consider the other 10 players in your team. You have to consider the hits that you take in your team. But the captaincy is that one. It only constitutes 25%, but that is huge. And it's only one player who gives you that in every particular game week. So you are expecting about 25% from them every particular game week in summary. So yeah, I think captaincy point is really important. How about you? What do you think about it?
I think if you want to play the game and if you want to have an impact on the game, you need to really pay attention to your captaincy because most of the time you can have your other players giving you maybe getting the differential points from players that nobody's picking. Also, getting ahead of the curve with the players that people are actually buying. But you need to understand that the players that are expensive in the game are expensive for a reason, meaning that the statistics that backs them to perform each and every game, or the likelihood of them having the best points or the maximum points, is actually determined by the price. Yeah. So Salah is the most expensive for a reason because at any given time in a game week, he is likely to have the maximum points. Yeah. So therefore, I think I've learned last season to keep it simple as much as possible. Get your captaincy. I think you would go into this about your captaincy ticker, the matrix. It's very simple, but the main idea is that get the fixtures, see which teams are playing, get the top players, and which one has the easier fixture, pick them. Keep it very simple. I think every other part of the game should be experimental, but the captaincy should be something that is very, very direct. Don't even joke about it because that's where your maximum points, like you said, is going to come from. So yeah, that's how I pick my captaincy. Now I don't joke about it. This season I'm trying to be as strict as possible with my captaincy.
Yeah.
So let's discuss.
How about your strategy? How about your strategy when it comes to picking captaincy? What is your main strategy? I know, of course, you say you gotta keep it simple. You try to pick the expensive players as much as possible. But when it comes to the decision making process, what is your decision making process usually?
I think this season I'm gonna go for the best fixture, and then the best player that is playing at home. If not, like none of the top captaincy options are playing at home, then I play for the one that is playing away, but the easiest fixture. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go strictly to the captaincy matrix because we have about 6 options for each game week, right? I'm gonna just keep it to 3, like we'll see in a moment. Yeah, I just want to keep it as simple as possible. I'm not going to try to get the best player. Like if I see that the best captaincy for this week is going to be this player, but I don't have them, I'll go for the next best option. But I will not gamble. Before last season, I gambled. Okay, I see that. Okay, the talk on social media is getting excited about this player. People are talking about this player that he seems like he's going to explode or he's going to, like haul soon. And then all of a sudden, everybody's jumping towards that player. I also do the same thing. But most times it doesn't work. And even if it does work, the chances of it like being, successful is very slim. And even if it happens for one game week, and then you're caught up with a player that you don't want in your team, and he's going to be there for the next 3, 4, 5 game weeks. Meanwhile, you have made a move that is sustainable for the next 3 to 4 game weeks. So it's like a gamble that might pay off, but it's I don't know, for some reason this time around I'm going to keep it simple, direct, and professional. That's what FPL.
Okay.
So yeah, what is your method of picking a captain? And then we'll just go straight to the captaincy matrix, and you just explain it too.
I think like similar to what you say. For me, it's all about the big hitter. It's all about the big hitter having the most expensive players as my captain. But of course, there have to be big hitters that are doing something in the game. But usually they are expensive for a reason. So just like you say, so if they're expecting, you expect them to score points. So that is my first take. And then the second one is the fixtures, home or away. For me, I'm very, very pro home fixtures. So if a team is playing at home, last season it was not a big thing, but I followed it. So I expect to even follow it even more strictly this season. So if a player is playing at home, I try to see the one with the best fixtures at home amongst the big hitters. And then if that is not possible, then I look at the away fixtures and then see who have the better fixtures. But it's always about the premium than the fixture.
Okay.
And then I think we can move to the captaincy metrics chart, which actually I think it's kind of captures this. And by the way, the metrics, we just have to explain how it is developed or something like that. Of course, it has 6 different columns, 6 different players every
Options,
game
yeah.
week, 6 different options every game week. But how did we come to these options is like we have the teams, like we say, each team in the Premier League, we take their most expensive player. For example, at Liverpool, Salah is the most expensive player, so we take him as our sample. And at United, we have Bruno Fernandes as the sample. So each team in the Premier League, they have the most expensive player, and that is what we use as the sample. Then we categorize the teams into 3 different categories. That is the best teams in the league, the medium teams in the league, and the whipping boys in the league. Let's call it that. The teams that we expect they are gonna be beating almost every time. They don't have a good defensive team. So after making these 3 different categories, 7 for the best, medium 6, and then because we have 20 teams, and 7 for the worst teams, then that is the first category. That is the second category. Then we know the premiums and what is not a premium. By here we define premium by a player who is costing 10 million or more. Anything less than 10 million is not a premium. So for example, at Liverpool, Salah is 12.5 million. He is obviously a premium. At Burnley, the most expensive player there is Chris Wood. He is only 7 million. So in this category, he is not a premium. He is just a standard player. So that is how we divide them. And then we each tier, for example, if a premium player plays a team amongst the worst teams, then the color is gonna be like the fixture is gonna be very good. And if a team who is a standard like a Chris Wood plays against the best team in the league, like a Man City, but away to Man City, that is gonna be a red. So that is basically what we do, and then we have different levels, and then we come up with this table. So it shows us like in every game week who are the 6 best options to captain, and yeah. So it kind of gives you a broader view because you wanna chase those players that are playing with the least, like the worst fixtures every single game. So you wanna make transfers sometimes to capture those targets because you cannot have all of them at the same time. But you wanna captain the accord. Like for example, in game week 1, there is no Bruno Fernandes. For example, for me, in my opinion, Bruno Fernandes has the best fixture, then followed by Salah, something like that. And in game week 2, we have KDB and Salah having very good captain, being very good at captaining option. Maybe most of us will not have KDB for game week 2 because he's injured now. But if KDB, if we don't have him, we don't even need to get him because we already have a very premium captain option in Salah. So basically, this gives you a blueprint of the best captaincy option from game week 1 to game week 38. So you can plan, just like the fixture ticker, you can plan your transfers for captaincy using this captaincy metrics ticker. Yeah, how about what do you think about it?
Yeah, basically it eliminates the option of you guessing and seeing which one is the best because fixtures are out right now. The players are there unless they're injured, but that's why we have 6 options for each game week. So before the game, before the game actually arrives, we can tell, okay, this is the game week that I'm approaching. This game week 6 or game week 7. These are my options. So you can work towards those players if you want to get them. Like for example, you can see most of the option 1 are all green. That means the fixtures is good, the premium pick is good, it's the best option for that game week. You know, if you don't have that, you can jump to the second option, which is like a player that has a good fixture but not as good as the first option. So as you can see, if you're going further down the options, option 3 is not as good as option 2. And then most of the time, you can see that there's some reds, there are some oranges. If you want, you can change it as well because I see some options are better at option 6 than option 7, for example, game week 26. It's not as clear, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it eliminates the idea of you guessing and trying to come to that conclusion of which one is the best option for this game week. Come to the ticker, work towards it, plan it, and then get your captaincy. There's no sweat about it. It's like everything has been done for you. just
and it's becoming very popular in the community now when it comes to captaincy metrics. Everybody having a captaincy metrics, and then if they discuss their metrics, I can guarantee, it is almost 90 to 95% sure that option will be here. So this only gives you a view, and sometimes, for example, like you don't have KDB, for example, in game week 2, and assuming you don't have Salah, you don't have KDB, but you have a Mahrez, you will see from KDB that this is a very good fixture for captain. That's why it went to this type of thing. So maybe the second best option in Man City might be Mahrez, and he could be an option for you. But it just gives you the idea, and it can also help you plan transfers and see players that are having good fixtures, which you are not even considering, not even for captaincy, but you can also use it for transfers too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you have it, the Captaincy Mythic sticker. So we can use this. It's free. If you go on our Twitter page, you can see it there. You get a clearer copy as well, and then just use it as much as possible. So yeah, moving on to the main center of this episode, which is the FPL preview for Game Week 1. First game week of the season. This is Koto Classic FPL Season 3. So, Chama, I know you've had like 10,000 teams in drafts.
Yeah.
The latest one, please, let's discuss your final teams and take us through as quickly as possible your players and the main idea why you have those particular players in your team.
Yeah, my team looks like this for now. Martinez in goal, Trent, Shaw, and Chimekas. Trent, I don't need to say much. Martinez, I think he's the best goalkeeper in the game, but he's expensive. But yeah, I am looking to start the season. Like, I need a strong start in the season, right? But what are we discussing the captaincy or the team first before the strategy?
Yeah, just like for those of us that are listening, some of our listeners, they can't see it, so just go through your players. Yeah, and then tell us your strategy.
So
the strategy we'll discuss it. We'll discuss the strategy. Okay, fine. Just discuss your strategy and then the team.
Yeah, I will talk about my team. Yeah. So basically, my strategy this season, or how I intend to approach this season, is I have 5 kind of guidelines for myself, and that is being flexible for my transfer flexibility, because sometime last season I think I felt I was not so aggressive in the way I made my transfer. I was so comfortable, even though I was seeing transfer that I should do, and I was not doing it. So even if I'm doing well this season, I just want to be flexible. I don't. If I see a hit that I need to take, I will not like derail from it. And if there is no need for me to take a hit, I am averse to taking hits, but I'm also not. I don't care about taking hits. So I want to try to find that balance. It's quite difficult, but I want to find that balance where my transfers is just doing what is best for that game, not thinking about where my position is or how well I'm doing or how badly I am doing. I just want to be flexible with my transfers. And I also want to think short term. This is why I wanted to talk about this before I move to the team. I want to think short term. So at the start of the season right now, I'm only thinking short term. And my short term means 3 game weeks or 4 game weeks maximum. So my transfers or my game week 1 team is basically looking at the first 3 game weeks without looking beyond. And if needs be, I might wildcard after that. So that also comes to the flexibility. If there is no need to do for the wildcard, then I might keep the wildcard. But I don't care about using the wildcard very early, as far as I'm doing well. And also, I think I mentioned this about this one in the captaincy chart, which is favoring the home team for captaincy. I did it last season, but at the tail end of the season, I was not so disciplined in doing it. So I want to be more disciplined this season in following the home teams for captaincy. And always focus on points, play the overall average game. Yeah, I don't like to play the, every game. Like, I want to have a 98 points or something. For me, I set a target for myself. This is the average points I want to get. Let's say 60 points, let's say 63 points. So I just want to be around that average and then see where it leads me. So I rather play the overall average points rather than to play the game week points and then thinking about it, those kind of things too much. And then finally, I have to be very aggressive at the start of the season again when it comes to team value, like I always do. This one is something I think I am well known for. So I'll be very aggressive when it comes to making transfers during the first game week or the first few game weeks, because I want to raise the team value, which will help me in the later stage of the season. So basically, these 5 things I'm going to follow. And just have fun, enjoy the game at the end of the day. Yeah. So those are my
so and then take us through your team. Mm-hmm.
And now finally, this is my team as it stands now. It might change again, like I said. So in goal, I have Martinez. Maybe 10 of my 11 players will not change, but maybe one of them might change. 1 or 2 of them. So I have Martinez in goal. yeah, like I say, he's the best goalkeeper in the game. So I don't need as far as I can afford him. I think I don't. I should get him. And from now, from this team, I can. Alexander Arnold, not much to say about him. Luke Shaw has had an exceptional season last season. Now he is becoming even more instrumental, looking back the Euros and now coming back into preseason. Yeah, I just hope he stays fit. Of course, I don't wish United well, but I hope their players, everyone stays fit. And yeah, Luke Shaw does well for my fantasy team. And Simicast, I think he is the talk of the town right now. Simicast, if you go to social media, Twitter, everybody's talking about Simicast, the pronunciation, stuff like that. But just like from the Always Cheating podcast, he say sometimes I like this saying. He says sometimes the FPL headquarters just throw you a bone. If they throw you something, you just have to take it. And Simakas at 4 million Liverpool defender who's almost guaranteed to start because of the injury to Robertson. I think it's a no-brainer. Of course, people are talking about Jota or tripling up on Liverpool, how he affects your and how do you get out of him and things like that. I just think this is a big opportunity. 4 million, it gives you a strong start because that's why for me personally, I don't see why I should not go with him. And in the middle, I went with Ben. 3-4-3 is my formation. So Ben Rahma, Fernandez, Salah, and Greenwood are in the middle. Man United fixtures are just too good, so I went with the double. Greenwood will start. Rashford is injured. Sancho is not yet ready. Cavani is not yet ready. So it is almost nailed that I think Greenwood will start. And against a Leeds team that attacks, so he could cause damage in the game. Bruno Fernandes is just Bruno Fernandes. Salah is Salah. Those two, I don't need to say much about them. And then you have Ben Rahma. Ben Rahma has had a very, very, very interesting preseason. He has been very instrumental in making goals. I think he had 2 goals and 2 assists, something like that during the preseason. He looks really, 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 really good in preseason. I watched some of the highlights of their games, so that's why I have him in my team. And I have Inks and Antonio. They are a bit injury prone, but I think Inks, with Watkins, a little bit of a doubt. So Inks will likely start. He scored in his first game again for Aston Villa. So I think he will start. And Aston Villa's fixture are just too good to ignore him. Antonio, he is doing well too in preseason. So the main doubt in my team is Tony, because I don't have Rafinha, as you can see. So it's either play 3-5-2 with Rafinha or play 3-4-3 with Tony. So I am gonna weigh up between these two. That is the only dilemma I have right now. On my phone is Rafinha, and you can see on the screen is Tony now. So that is one decision that is yet to be made. So on my bench, basically gone just the cheapest goalkeeper you can have. This is just any choice. Ailing, I think he is my go-to bench in case some of my players don't play. And Obo Medele, how is the name pronounced? I don't know.
Omo Bamidele.
Omo Bamidele, he is also had a very, very good preseason with Norwich. He started, I think, all their games, played most minutes than any player in their team. So he's also a no-brainer. Gibbs White, he looks sharp too in preseason. I don't think he will start for Wolves, but he looks sharp. So in my bench, only the goalkeeper is kind of unlikely to start, but the remaining players are likely to have minutes. I think 2 of them will start. Yeah, that's my team.
Okay. That's a good team. I hope it doesn't change, but I think your explanation just gives a background for each and every position and each and every player. Yeah, I think you've actually sold me on Simicasts before I even start mine. I think this is one part of my game that I need to eliminate is stubbornness, because I went online and I saw that everybody was talking about Simicasts. I was like, again, the FPL community online is a small percentage of the total pool of players. So, I don't like making the same moves as everybody, but like you said, this is a boon. So definitely should make that move. Yeah, so my team. Okay, let's go to my strategy first. Let me just explain, like you did. Yeah, so every season I have a mentality. This one, my thinking behind this season is that I want to be a conservative manager. I'm going back to being conservative because last season was a different season, like I keep saying. There were so many different unforeseen circumstances that you had to be a manager that is managing each and every week. So this season is going to be back to a normal season because because obviously we've gotten a handle on the coronavirus, so things might be a bit more predictive. Fans are going to be back in the stadium, so home games are going to be very, very important. So I want to be a conservative manager and plan ahead. I also want to endeavor to be more patient with my transfers because most of the time I'm very, rash manager. Oh, this player doesn't do well. I've really wasted my transfer on him.
Rate transfer.
Doesn't rate transfer out. Please go. Next thing you know, that same player, is getting all the points. So I really want to start being that manager that is patient because if you transfer a player in for the next 3 to 4 games, you're seeing something that, based on the stats and your eye test, you're seeing something that is going to take a while for you to manifest. So that's why I want to be a patient manager. I also want to be more flexible because, as we know, most times there's a curve, like players that are hitting their stride at the perfect time. If you get in early, you might benefit before everybody else has. Like it becomes a template and it becomes like the points become non-existent because everybody has them. So I want to be more flexible. If the template changes, I also want to change as soon as possible. I want to be just comfortable with my players because they're getting me the points. You always have to be ahead of the curve so that you can advance in the game. I want to take less risk with captaincy. Last season was the highest, I think, number of hits I've taken. I've taken also with my captaincy because I was like, okay, this player is gaining momentum on FPL Twitter. So let me just try and risk. So like I said, I'm sticking to the ticker as much as possible because at least we have 6 options. There's no excuse to say, oh, well, this player is doing this and this, that's why I went with him. If it's not on the ticker, there's no point even making that captain pick at all because, everything has been made for us. So no gambling. So I don't want to be emotional. Like I just mentioned, I was being emotional because people are doing this. I want to do the opposite. I want to try and play the game as quick as possible. So this is going to be my most important point because it's so easy for you to be emotional, but you don't see it. Somebody that you're talking to is the one that actually sees, oh, it's not really based on fact, it's based on emotion. So, you have to keep reminding yourself once in a while, like to go back and read these points so that you can reset yourself. Also be mindful, like what I said, of the template changing and being ahead of the curve. That's also being flexible with my strategy. So these are my points that I have to remind myself whenever, maybe every 3 or 4, 5 game weeks that has passed. I'll come back to these points, remind myself, and then go back to the default manager setting. So I think these plans to talk about them later on. Let's go to my team, Chama.
Okay, here's your team.
Yeah, so my team. I hope I haven't changed anything. Okay, so Sanchez, I always have like to get not a cheap goalkeeper per se, but a keeper that can allow me to divert funds elsewhere, like 4.5 for Sanchez. I think he's not the best keeper when it comes to save points and all these things, but like I said, my keepers that I've always picked the last 2 seasons have become more expensive than I can afford. So keep it to 4.5. So he's a good option to have. And then the back three. First of all, I like my favorite formation is the 3-4-3 because it allows me to have 3 strikers. I'm a very attacking minded manager. So I like to have players in my attack. Midfielder, Chama is different because he likes to have midfielder because players scoring from midfield get you the most points. But for me, maybe it's the way it looks. Maybe I like the way the 3-4-3, the balance of it and the formation looks. I don't know, but I just like to have 3 strikers that are always playing each and every game. So yeah, that's my excuse. So I have Trent, Kufal, and Shaw. Kufal was a player that I wanted to get last season, but I couldn't get him. But he was very, very. If you watch his game, you can see that he's capable of more. I think this season, last season was his first season, I think. So this season, you might see a more improved Kufal. Shaw, there's no need to even talk about Shaw. You already mentioned him. He had a very good Euros. He's always improving. He's a better player. Last season, he's going to be an even better player this season. So those 3 defenders that I have, perfect. I don't think I can change anything. Since I've had this team, they have been there since the beginning, except for Kufa. So yeah, going to the midfield, Salah. No need to say any much about him. He's my captaincy. What is game week 1? No need to even delve into that. Fernandez must have. You cannot even afford to go without him. Ben Rahma, like you said, has been very impressive, and I think he's going to excel in place of Lingard this season. Because he's a very creative player, and we're expecting that he will come last season with Brentford. Brentford is now there, but I think he's in a better team than Brentford in West Ham. So he's
Yeah,
definitely going to be the creative hub, for West Ham this season. Rafinha is one of the players that I love to have. He's just an exciting player to watch. I was expecting that a big team will come and snap him up, but nobody
yeah.
made the move. So one more season for him to mature in his position and then get that confidence in the league. So yeah, then my front three, Antonio. I'm not really sure about Antonio because of his injury record, but he's a very good player. If you watch him play, it's like he's going to score every time he gets the ball. And he's had a good preseason. I just hope, fingers crossed, that he doesn't get an injury. At least they didn't give us 3 or 4 game weeks, and then maybe he can have a small injury, and then we can bring him back in the team. But for now, he's a good pick. He's been having a very good preseason. Ings is a shock move. I had Watkins before Ings, but
Yeah.
Ings you have to have because he's going to a team that is a better team than Southampton. When it comes to creative, they've sold Grealish obviously, but still they're still a good team because they had some really good players that they've acquired like Leon Bailey and Buendia. So the creativity is there for Ings, and we know Ings. If he can stay fit, he's a very good goal scorer. And I think they're going to play a two striker. Watkins and Ings are going to be playing together. So hopefully, Ings scores more goals than Watkins. I can't have two of them in the same team, obviously, but if I had to choose, I'll choose Ings. Tony, like we said, don't know much about him, but if somebody that can score 30 something goals in the championship, even if we have that amount of goal tally, he's still going to perform. He's still
Yeah.
a top striker because we
Still
don't
have
have
50.
many top strikers in the league. So I mean, if you have a striker that's 6.5 coming in from the championship with the amount of goal tally, definitely a shoe into my team.
Okay.
Last but not the least, my bench. I have Foster, 4.0. Obviously, I just have to have a cheap bench option. And I'm not sure whether it's going to start though, but he's there. Ailing is somebody that also I wanted to have last season. My first draft last season had Ailing, but then at some point I just lost track and took him out of my team. But he's a developing player that I think he's underpriced. Veltman is also a good player. Like I said, he's in my differential. I'll talk about him more when it comes to that. But yeah, he's there, my bench, and then Brownhill, who I've heard good things about. So hopefully he delivers. So yeah, that's my team.
Yeah, Brown here is all about the. I think he had a preseason game where he scored a brace or something like that, and
Okay,
then
so
he got injured.
people are
But
keeping, but preseason form and league form are different. But at least it's a good indication of what is to come. The best, that's the
yeah,
best.
yeah, and he's
That's the best
4.5,
way.
4.5 million. You don't
It's cheap.
expect much from him.
Yeah, you
So
don't
if he
expect much
score,
from him.
yeah. So
The thing
if
is
he gets
to
good
let
goal,
him start. As soon as if he starts, then that's a good thing to have.
yeah,
Okay, so we'll move on to best fixtures of the week, Chama. Let's just talk about the fixtures, the first game week fixture, and see which one
yeah.
jumps out.
Brentford plays Arsenal. This is of course local time. I'm in Japan, so it's local time in Japan.
Look time, okay.
Brentford Arsenal Saturday for me. Saturday for yeah, yeah. Saturday. It's gonna be on a Saturday for me, and of course it's a Friday kickoff. And Man United leads. That's the early kickoff on a Saturday UK time. Early kickoff. But in Japan, it's gonna be night, of course. Burnley play Brighton. Chelsea play Crystal Palace. Everton, Southampton, Leicester City, Watford. Leicester City plays Wolves. That's a good one too. Watford plays Aston Villa. Norwich play Liverpool on Sunday. Newcastle, West Ham United, and Spurs Man City. They close the first game week. I think the Spurs Man City game is the best game there in terms of football.
That's why it's the
But
last game. Mhm.
yeah, but looking FPL wise, you have to look. You
Yeah,
cannot look beyond the Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea fixtures. I know Chelsea are not popular for the start because of the fixtures they have subsequently, but against Palace, it's certainly a new team, a new Palace team, a new manager, a lot of young players bedding in. I think that's a very good fixture for Chelsea, but also you have to consider they played a Euro Super Cup yesterday and they went up to extra time. How is that going to affect them in that
that
fixture?
team. Yeah,
But for FPL wise, I think there is something there to gain. Yeah, that is one fixture that I think is, but of course I'm not gonna get any player from there. But the two standard fixtures for me is Liverpool and Man United. I have the triple Liverpool and triple United because I think those are fixtures for a lot of FPL points. How about you? What do you think?
yeah. I
Anything?
think, like you said, the obvious ones. Man U leads is a good one to have. Norwich Liverpool, I think, is going to be the game where it's going to have a lot of goals coming from Liverpool.
You
So
think
that's why
so?
initially, yeah, that's why initially I had Jota, but then when Andy from FPL, the stock FPL, kind of convinced me that maybe he might not start. So So I decided to play it safe. But yeah, I think those two fixtures also, I think Watford, I've heard that the defense is not good. The only the
in
only downside is
preseason.
that the only downside is that Aston Villa is, they don't have Grealish anymore, and they have new players that they need to bed in. But if Aston Villa of last season was still around, still there, and they're playing Watford, I would definitely have some Aston Villa players playing
Now, now
with
what
three of them.
yeah, like you say, don't buy a lot of things from the preseason. Like don't take a lot of things from what happened in the
You
preseason.
think? Yeah.
Watford has been bad defensively, but they were the best defensive team in the coming up from the championship. They were really good. Like I say, in the
Okay.
second half of the season, I think they kept 16 clean sheets out of 26. So that is more than the 50% rate they were keeping clean sheets, and they defensively they were very strong. But
In
of
championship.
course, in the
Yeah,
championship,
yeah,
but
championship.
then
That's the
you have
thing.
to but you are talking about preseason. Preseason games is playing against championship teams, or maybe sometimes they play a
No,
Premier
but
League team.
my
But they have
my
not played. Huh?
my decision is coming from the fact that like when they were last in the Premier League,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure how they performed in the championship, but from my experience,
But
maybe they've bought
we
some
discussed
defensive players.
we had that discussion right
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
about
we did.
Watford in the championship. They had it's a completely different team. They had a new
Okay,
manager. They had
okay.
yeah. I think it's a different team
Maybe
that is
maybe
coming up.
I have a bias towards, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Of course, two years ago,
Okay, in
what
that
happened
case,
is
yeah,
yeah.
in that case, maybe I think just keep it simple. The Man U leads, and then the Liverpool Norwich, because Norwich still the same thing. I don't think they've changed much. So as much as they're coming up, they might just go back down if they don't really invest in what the players that they're supposed to get. Okay, so we move on to our differentials. Chama, give us the three top players that you think I think for game week 1 to game week 3. You might have more differentials in the next few episodes, but we just want to have like three
No,
start off differentials. Yeah.
there are three differentials for me. Looking into this, like I say, I'm very short term thinker. I'm thinking
Mm,
the first game week. Three players that I think they are not getting the recognition that they deserve. One is Sadio Mane. Watch it because I watch all Liverpool preseason games, including the trainings and all those kind of things. I don't just watch the games. I want to know what really happened in there. And Mane has been one of the sharpest players looking at in the Liverpool team. One of the most, he's really looking confident, and he's feeling really good about the season, happy, things like that, And it is showing in his preseason form. He has already scored 3 goals and made 1 assist in the preseason so far. He's the leading goal scorer, of course, in preseason. So, and his ownership is just 4.5%. I know the 12
it's
million
really
that
low.
the 12
Yeah,
million
yeah,
yeah
yeah.
cost is that what is swaying people away from him. But I think he's a very, very good defender to have. I'm not gonna have him in my team because of the opportunity with Simakas, and I just cannot go without Trent and Salah. So it's difficult to get him. But I think if somebody was gonna take a punt on him, is a very good one. Harrison too. I think Rafinha is overshadowing him, the same as Salah is overshadowing Mane. Harrison is being overshadowed by Rafinha. Harrison was the highest Leeds goal scorer after Bamford, of course. He had 160 FPL points last season, and his cost is only 6 million. He had 5.4% ownership. That is pretty low for Harrison, for a Leeds attacking player. I can remember last season in the first game week he scored against Liverpool. So I wouldn't rule it out if he scored in the first game against Man United. And finally, it's going to be Greenwood. I don't think people trust him that much now because of last season. He did not have the best of season until the end of the season. But Greenwood at 7.5, I'm sorry, not 6 million, at 7.5 million, his ownership is only 6.1%, and he's gonna be starting for United, in my opinion, because of the late arrival of Cavani
Cavani.
and Sancho, and also Marshall is not ready 100%, and what is his name? Rashford is already injured, so it's only, I think he's gonna start this game. And Man United are playing Leeds, right? This is a game for young people. It's not a game for old people, to be honest, or not unfit players, because it's gonna be very high tempo. Leeds are
Very
gonna
high
put
tempo,
you under
yeah.
pressure, so you want
High
these young
octane.
players with a lot of energy to play. So I think that I expect even maybe James to start, but I think Greenwood is almost nailed to start in that one. So these are my
Okay.
three differences.
Yeah, I think for mine, I have Ben Rama at 6.6 million, Bailey at 6.5, and Veltman at 5.5. Um, as you can see, the ownership, yeah. But anyways, Ben Rahma is a very good player to watch. He's a very creative player. I think last season gave him like a introduction into the league. He
Yeah.
wasn't really prepared because he wanted to just play in the the Premier League. But then now that he's well established in the team, and then Lingard is also out because they play a similar type of position, like
Yeah.
a 10 creative player. So now that he's established in the team and he had a pretty good preseason, I think he's somebody to watch. He reminds me of Rafinha in a similar way because they create a lot of chances.
Yeah.
But I
True.
think
And he
maybe
likes to shoot.
yeah, in addition to creating, he's also going to be somebody that is going to score a lot of goals.
Yeah. He
Because
gets a lot
Rafinha
of
is just
assists.
unfortunate. If Rafinha was in a better team, you will see a different type of player too. But yeah, Ben
Okay.
Lama is a good differential for me. Leon Bailey, last season, the season before last, I think in 2020, last year, when we kind of switched to the German league and we were watching some of these German players when we were playing the German FPL, we saw
Yeah.
some of these players. I've been a fan of him for a while because he's a very explosive player. He's fast and
Like
he's like a
Jamaicans. Yeah.
yeah he's like a he reminds me of what is that player called um a winger. I forgot, Manchester United winger. I forgot, drawing a blank here.
Yeah.
uh Daniel James.
Yeah.
He reminds me of James, but only that he like takes his time. He knows when he needs to explode and he knows when he needs to just slow down. So I think he's tailor made for the Premier League. It might take him a while to get maybe into the groove of things. Obviously, it's a Premier League; it's one of the most difficult leagues in the world. But when he does get things going, he's going to be one exciting player to watch. If you watch which team is he? Is he from Leverkusen? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. He's from the Leverkusen.
Yeah, he's a very good player. So I've watched a few of his games and he's been impressive. Veltman of Brighton, we all know, obviously. This guy is injured. What's his name again? Our favorite right back. Um, I
Lamptey.
might blank blank. Lamptey is injured, so obviously the chance is there for Veltman, who's also a very attack-minded fullback, to perform. And the price 5.5 is good because most of these
Four,
players now
4.5.
4.5, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, yeah. 4.5 is a very good price if you're somebody that's going to play each and every game. Is just have him there. If one of your players becomes injured, he slots right in. Very cheap. You don't have to worry about it. And Brighton is a very good team. I think last season they were very unfortunate, extremely unfortunate. They hit the crossbar a few times, and defensively they're very good. They hardly concede, and I think they're going to improve on the performance that they had last season. So this season we'll see a much improved Brighton, and hopefully their defense can continue being impressive as well. And then, if you have a defense that keeps clean sheets, and a fullback from that defense that also attacks, come on, man. I don't think you can even
Okay.
think about that. Yeah. So that's that. And then finally, we'll close with our plans for the first few game weeks and our players. Not already players, we already spoke about those, but the plans for the few game weeks. I think you already mentioned part of this in your strategy, so you can
Yeah.
just
I mean,
continue.
I kind of combine it. So maybe you can just
Yeah, let me
mention yours
just
and then.
finish mine. So I just have a few short things. My plan is to play the wild card as soon as possible because we will find out from game week 1 to game week 3, with the exception of last season, which was a different season. It took us a while to actually get a template because of lack of preseason. But this time around, things are different. So things are going to change as much as possible. So I'm going to plan to play my wild card as soon as a template becomes apparent. So we see the players that are playing, the players that are going to have a good few start of the season, get those players in, move ahead of the curve, start getting those points because the wild card is there to be played. So I don't want to keep it just because of keeping it, or I played my wild card late, or because there's no reason behind it. Because it's difficult to get the guess early. Not that the first team that you make is going to be the best team for the next 1 to 10 games. So play the wild card early. Next thing is set my captaincy every 6 weeks in advance. I don't know why I even put this thing because the ticker is already there taking care of everything. Just need to check the ticker and see which ones are the better options. If you want to revert it based on injury and availability of the players, then fine. But then the ticker is it. It eliminates one more headache for me in the season, anyways. So yeah, we've come to the end of the pod, Chama. Any last thing you wanted to say before we get our season on?
Yeah, guys. This is the Koto Classic podcast, and it's part of the Jollof Football Bantaba Network. So you can please follow us if you like our podcast, or if you like our what we're doing on the channel. Please follow us on the Jollof Football Bantaba. And the podcast, you can find it in any podcast feed, the Koto Classic podcast that you listen to your podcast. And also, of course, our Twitter link is there. You can interact with us on social media and things like that. And finally, the link for the Koto Classic League will be in the description of this video and the podcast. So please join the Koto Classic League. And good luck on your FPL season, which I think we are now ready to go. So good luck to you all, FPL managers.